Good morning and welcome to the pre-market live show. It's Thursday, November 7th, and I think everybody's a little tired after all that election stuff the last 2 days. But anyway, the heat map's opening up and it's even tired. It's a little flat, and that's what I was afraid of. It was lime green yesterday, and this is what I was talking about last night. Just not get crazy and chase these things while they shoot up on that reaction. So, like I'm saying, the heat map is pretty flat. Microsoft's up 0.18%, Apple's up 0.14%, Amazon's down 0.40%, Tesla's down 0.43%, Google's up 0.47%, Meta's down 0.35%, and Nvidia's down 0.16%. So not crazy, but again, they're just that overreaction. You knew they were going to have to do a little pullback or go flat or do something. So that's what I was talking about last night. So let's go ahead and see what's happening today and what's going to be popping. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. And let's go ahead and look at our Jolie's jumpers real quick and see what's happening here. Let me hop in here and get to them. Um, what did I do? I didn't put them there. They should be right there. ATCH, let's see it. It is moving this morning up 9 cents. ATCH. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, it ran up yesterday really nice. 15 to 48. I didn't even notice this one. And then 36 to 39 and back down to 27 right now. So ATCH definitely moved up yesterday. Kept a little momentum this morning, but nothing crazy. How about that BLNK? It has its earnings, as a matter of fact, today, the 7th. There's like what 484 companies that are reporting earnings today. So it's a big earnings day. And you know what I was saying last night? I decided I am not playing the earnings calls and with the options and stuff. It's just a little tough to see the look. I can tell what it's going to do right before. I could tell what it's going to do right after. But as soon as it hits the day of the earnings, it's like I have no idea. I did my research and I made my decision. So there you go with that. Unless they look absolutely insane, and I know it's going through the roof. I'm just not going to play with the earnings on the options. I seem to do better when it's not the earnings call. So CTM, let's see. That's up a little bit. It ran the other day. Let me see what this one's trying to do here. CTM. That is yesterday. It did run up 1560 to 1770. I don't see anything this morning yet on CTM, but keep an eye on it because it did have some momentum yesterday and it was trying to move. So, what the heck is even going on here? This is November 6th. What is this? These are like two different dates or two different prices here. November 7th, CTM. Am I looking at the right company? No. I was gonna say there's no way these are the right companies. One's at 16.91 and one's at like 17 cents. I was like, wait a second, these don't even look similar. Let me look at the right one here. I'm looking at CMT. If you want to look at one that's kind of moving right there with some momentum, CMT, Core Molding Technologies. I'll look at that one real quick and then we'll come back to the other one. Yeah, that one has some momentum this morning. CMT, Core Molding Technologies, isn't looking bad, but that's not what we were trying to look at. We were trying to look at CTM. And now let's look at that. CTM, here we are. I was confusing myself. Yeah, CTM definitely ran up yesterday, 15 to 28 cents. And then this morning it opened at 18, got up to 21, back down to 17. So another thing you have to see is when these things run up hardcore, it's probably a good idea to get out of them because the next morning they run up a little bit and then start to pull back unless it has some crazy momentum. But if they spike up like that and pull back, it's unless they can pretty much close at the top and not many of them are, they're not keeping that momentum. So that's CTM, but I mean, they're amazing poppers going on. And like I was saying, this market's going to get wild. So drug, that's coming down. And I think this one, I was amazed that it was curling up the last time. It looked like it wanted to roll off that MACD. Right now, it's just sitting there flat. You can't even tell. It has both looks. If I had to guess, though, it's coming down because it's way at the top and it should be coming down. So DRUG should be pulling back there. EBS, we looked at this last night. It's up 210 this morning. So there you go. EBS, I believe this was a Jennifer Lee one. I'm telling you, she sees these things and knows which ones are running up. I don't. She's got a great eye for them. I say it all the time. I'm pretty impressed when she sends them over. I'm like, well, this one's going to be popping up momentum style. And this one had that weird look on the earnings, and it went flying. So, like I said, I am the worst of trying to call them for the earnings. Any other day, it's easy as can be, but as soon as it gets to be the day of the earnings, it just gives me this weird look, and I'm like, everyone I pick, I just pick the opposite way because that's what they keep doing. This one was hitting the resistance. I probably said I think it would come back and it flew up. So I'm telling you, it's wild. And that's why I chose earnings are not my calls because it's just a hard look. And we'll let Jennifer Lee look at them because she has a great look at it, especially this one. I mean, she hit this one on the head last night, and it's up. It's up really good right there. So it ran up yesterday 918 to 1150, but then it opened 1098 and kept going up to 1161. So that's a nice look right there for Jennifer Lee. Like I said, she has that eye for them bad boys. So pay attention when I'm talking about what she's posting up there because she obviously knows. I was saying it last night. We have a lot of listeners that really have a clue. LSW. I don't see that one, but let's skip that and see if that was probably something else. ENSC we were talking about last night. I know it ran up yesterday 48 to 93. What did it do this morning? 83 down to 65, and it's sitting at 73 right now. So let me just take a look at it. ENSC. Yeah, and then this one still has yesterday's date, right? No, that's today. Says it's jumped up 17 cents to 73 cents. This is at yeah, but yesterday it closed at what? It closed at 82, so it's technically down, is what it would be. But it is sitting in a good spot right there on that support line. So we were looking at that last night, ENSC. So you might get a runner out of that this morning. NCNA, which one? New Canna PLC. Let's see what this one's trying to do. NCNA. Just kind of flat right there. Yesterday it did move 158 to 160, nothing real crazy. And then 160, 163, back down to 155. This one's going to be a good setup, guys. We should keep our eye on this. NCNA. Definitely looks like it'll be solid. Actually, it might be moving. This is yesterday's date, and so is this one. Now that I look at it, I thought they were today's date. I took the web bull. I X'd out of it because I was doing the poly market thing and I didn't need that up there. Let me know if NCNA that could be popping up this morning. It's not telling me anything. Let me look on stock twits and see what that says. I'm telling you, you need like 10 different platforms just to know what the hell's going on every morning. It's wild. NCNA, let's see. It's up a penny on here to 153. So I'm not exactly sure, but we'll check it. I'll look at that one when it opens up and we'll see what NCNA is doing. Rivian, this one has its earnings coming up. Yesterday's dip was actually kind of a surprise to me because it was pulling up, and that was probably your dip and rip situation as it's approaching the earnings. And again, the earnings are today then. Yeah, today are the earnings. So there you go. It was looking great going into earnings, pulls back. And like I said, we had a good look at it. We knew it was kind of popping up there because we've been looking at it. Its low is at $10. Yesterday, it got up to 10.62, sitting in a good spot. And then this morning, or 2 days ago, it was. And then as it comes up to the earnings yesterday, it opens at 10.10, runs to 10.24, and comes down to 9.50. Now it's sitting at like 990. And like I said, they have their earnings. So much easier to see them right before, all before the earnings and just after the earnings. But why it's earnings time. I went across so many of them, and yeah, I think it's just a hard look. I don't know why. A lot of them they beat their earnings and they pull back. It's more or less how the chart in the market opens up, and I don't want to. I would rather go with the chart, what that tells me, rather than how the market's going to open up and react to things. So that's my view on earnings and options. TMQ Trilogy Metals. This one was shooting up there. This one looks cool. TMQ shot up yesterday. 63 to 129. Today opened 108 to 110, and it's just sitting at 99 cents. It's not really pulled back hard. It looks pretty decent actually. It's up at the top, and it's run up at the top for a while here, and it looks like it could stay up there. So just keep an eye on this one, TMQ, if it wants to keep running up there. TRNR, this is one that we've looked at recently and said it was going to try to start running up there just the other day. And it did run up 12 to 20. It's back down to 10 right now. Yesterday it closed at 11. It went 9 to 12 yesterday. And then this morning it popped. So another one we were just, like I said, we're like 3 weeks early and we had this on the list. I just didn't do the entire list the last 2 nights because of the election. And, but we'll get obviously back into that. I'm just gonna sort through everything, see what looks good, what doesn't, and make a really nice list now that we know who won the election, and we can move forward with our. We'll do them in like 3 month blocks, pretty much. So like 4 times a year. So this the next 3 months we're just gonna destroy, and we'll get ready for that. And that's what I see anyway. TSBX. Let's look at it. It's just pulling back a little bit. It looks like it ran up yesterday. TSBX right here. It did run up yesterday, 48 to 70. And today opened at 53, went up to 54. It's just sitting there at 53 right now. And it doesn't look bad either. So I'd keep an eye on this. It's just not really doing a whole lot this morning. It only has 15,000 in volume, and it ran up significantly yesterday. You would think that there would be something going on. But yeah, keep an eye on this one. That one could be moving today. VIRX, let's look at that. Pulling back down there. And let's see what VIRX is doing. It ran yesterday 20 to 35, back to 19, or its low is 19. This morning opened at 20, got up to 21, and is back to 19. That's what I was looking at. So it got back to its low of yesterday. And yeah, this one did run up pretty nice yesterday, but I'm not so sure. I'd have to look at that one today, see if it's going to keep moving or not. It is in a setup, a crazy spot right there. XYLO. We just looked at this the other day as well. I remember it was curling up off the 20. Yesterday it had a crazy look, and this morning it shot up. So another one we were just early on, and the fifth it ran up from 331. I think we were looking at it then. And then it ran up to 440. It opened yesterday at 391 to 481, and this morning 470 to 506, and it's sitting at 405 right now. So it pulled back, and its low is 380 this morning. So, but another one we had looked at, definitely had that crazy look yesterday. I don't know. I don't know if we looked at it yesterday or the day before. And that's an Israeli medical device company. And it did have a crazy look, but there you go with our Jolie jumpers. Thank you very much. And let's see what else is going on with the market this morning. And as a BSLK, let's look at that Bolt. Isn't that what that is? Bolt something, Bolt Projects. Let's see what it's doing because we looked at this. We were probably way early on it. Let's see. November 5th was, or November 6th was yesterday, and that was 35 cents to 27 at 29. It's closed at 29. It doesn't have a look for today. Let me look on here. And this one is November 5th. Whoa, that should, or November 6th. Okay. I was gonna say that would be weird. November 6th, and it does have that this is a shell company. Did I even know that? I guess we did. But yeah, it has that look like, okay, now it could have finally bottomed out there. And let's see if this one wants to finally get rolling. And you know that we're usually early. We did get a pop up on it the other day. I remember it did roll up on November 1st. and ran up to like that 57 cent area. So I remember it ran, and obviously they pulled back, and it's still in the basement. But we'll keep an eye on BSLK as well, that Bolt projects, because that could be getting set up. And let's see what else is going on. Good morning, Manish. How are you? Happy Trump Thursday from the UK. Manish is in the UK. How are you over there? And let's see what else is going on, guys. Let me look at the scanner and the map. It's actually opening up a little better now. Microsoft's up a little bit. Let's just go through them. I'll go through the big tech ones. Tesla seems to be down a hair, and Meta, but everything else is just slightly green. And again, it was a lime green yesterday. You don't want to be buying them when they're lime green. When they're that jumped up like that, you just want to be patient and wait a day or two and see where you're going to catch that better price, because you don't want to be up there and have them pulling back on you. And that's just my best experience and what I've seen. And I just can see that look like, oh, all right, they jumped up on the reaction, let them pull back, calm down, and then we're just going to smash them because they're setting up perfectly. And now everything knows what's going on. And I think I retweeted, didn't he win Arizona? So he had like a clean sweep. I would say it was one of the biggest landslides in our country's history right there, everybody. So it wasn't even close. And again, I hope the mainstream media just goes away, because they should be obviously exposed. I clearly exposed it. There was never a day that anything looked close. So just know that, everybody. There was never one day that it ever looked close. So whatever you listen to during the day or get media or news from, if they were saying it was close at any point, you know that they're probably not feeding you the right information, because it was never close, unless these people just have no idea what they're talking about, and maybe the whole country just has no clue. But it was clear as day. I mean, it wasn't even a question in my mind. I walked around on election morning like he had already won, because the charts were like were just so shot up. I'm like, I don't think they could possibly cheat this one. And clearly, we went over that chart last night, and I actually saw multiple people with basically the same chart. Like I said, I just typed in the chat GPT, give me the election results for the last 4 years in a chart. And the chart that I posted was the one it gave you, but you can clearly see, I mean, you draw the bar across. I mean, that's charting 101. It's pretty basic, simple. Everybody can do it. And you can clearly see, if you handed me that thing, I'd be like, something was up with 2020. And that is not right there. So there you go. I mean, it's evident right now. And like I say, now that's why I always go back and look at things from the past, because you can see how these things were setting up, how they were supposed to run, and what happened. And now you guys can see why I do it all the time, because I kind of love to just see how they played out. And you can see when something was shady or going on. It's as clear as day. So let's look at the spy and all. And yeah, so if anyone thinks differently about that election, just tell them to listen to the show and we'll steer them in the right direction, because there's no way in hell anyone's going to argue with me that that election was not shady. So, and I ran in it and watched them do shady stuff. Like I said, they basically had to do shady stuff to beat me in town. Not basically, they definitely did. There was no question about it. They definitely did. So, yeah, and I ran as an independent guy. So, tell me, I know exactly what was going on. I witnessed it with my own eyes, and you see how I call it. So, there wasn't even a question in my mind. And there you go. The facts are the facts, and no one can argue it. We all know, and history is now tainted. And like I was saying, that he just tainted complete legacies right there of Trump. He knocked legacies out of this world. Obama's, Clinton's, and knocked Biden out of his political career and ended Harris's career. I mean, talk about just crushing an election, and he was a clean sweep. I mean, just it was a knockout punch, and it was only because the American people are not dumb. We're all too bright for what was going on, and they learned a lesson. That's how it works, and the whole entire party is going to have to redo itself. But let's roll through these, because that's what's important. And yeah, it's just a fascinating thing that played out right there. And like I say, it was never close. Never, ever, ever was it ever close. The spy, and again, because the American people were always on the side that they were just tired of the nonsense. And you can see it was landslides. I mean, everywhere it was a landslide. So here we go. The SPY's at 592. It's up $1.48 this morning, and it did cross through. I was curious. I had no idea if it would do it. I said it last night. Is this thing going to cross through or jump or hit it and bounce down? It was sitting. It jumped up perfectly, and it was sitting on the which was the resistance, the support, but now it's going to have to hit that top and come down because it has to set up and it's going to have to get back into it'll probably have to come back into the 580. So we're going to see some pullback. And this is what I was talking about. Run them up today, probably tomorrow. We have to see some pullback because it was a big reaction as they set up, and then they're going to get blasted off. Whether it's next week or the week after, we're on the 7th. Yeah, I would say because again, when's Thanksgiving Day? I forget when it is. Oh, it's all the way at the end. So yeah, you may see them start running the week before Thanksgiving Day because it's the last week in November. Actually, it's really late this year, huh? It's going to be like Thanksgiving Day, Thanksgiving's Day, and then Christmas is like less than a month away. That's going to be a quick holiday season right there. So, yeah, Thanksgiving is all the way back at the 28th, guys. That's pretty wild. So, we're probably going to see them run right around the 17th area that week, the 18th. And so next week could be a little setup week. Obviously, we'll be on everything. But like I said, they just ran up. It was a reaction. And this is what I was explaining last night. Let's look at all the big caps and just see how they're going to work. Apple's setting up. Now, Apple may only be the one that sets up the run. You may have your best bet with Apple right here because Apple's looking really good. And it was down at the bottom. I said that bottom was probably 219.71. What was it? Halloween? Oh, November 4th. It was just the other day, not Halloween. They were earnings on them days. So it came down again. The earnings were all crazy, and now you're getting set back up. So Apple looks like it's probably going to get moving, but some of the other ones were actually already running up. So let's take a look at them and see what these guys are going to do. Nvidia. Let's look at Nvidia. It's up 7 cents right there, and it's right in between a nice channel, but flat. And it is. It's hitting that line, and I'm just not so sure that Nvidia wants to get through their earnings. They were the only one that didn't post the earnings, and their earnings are not next week in 2 weeks on the 20th. So we'll keep an eye on it. It wants to run up to like that 148, but it's not going to really jump up, I don't think, much past that. And I think it's going to have to pull back here to the 140. So look at Nvidia. It is setting up. And like I said, Nvidia is going to be setting up super bullish. And it may cross through right now just because of how the market's reacting. But you have to time them out perfectly, and you don't want to get in it and that thing hit the line and bounce back on you. That's the one thing you definitely don't want to do because it'll come down a couple dollars, and I've realized them couple dollars are a big difference when you're talking options here. So you do want to find the bottom as close as you want. Obviously, it's not the end of the world as long as it's up, but if you really want to maximize them profits and percentages, you want to find them bottom prices and ride it up there. So that's what we've been seeking out there and just being patient, honestly. You don't have to, like I say, you don't want to trade them all anyway. And right now, Apple's setting up. This is setting up, but you just want to see what's happening before you get crazy with it and it makes a move on you. So I'm perfect. And again, these with these options, you get in it at the right time and it moves up a couple dollars. And the way that they jump up the leverage, it's just insane. It's not like you're moving $3. It's you're moving way more. So it's perfectly fine as long as you catch it right there at the right timing. So Google trying to run up and another one, it should run up. It should hit that 181 area. It's at 179.50. I don't think they want to get in the top right now. They weren't meant to get into the top. they were just a big reaction. And again, the market was already set up for that Trump win. You could already tell. And then obviously it was, you know why it reacted? I said it last night. It reacted so crazy because the voting was so smooth and it was such a landslide. I think the actual charts were waiting for a day. I think they were waiting for one day to come out. And when it did, it was just, they announced at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m., the night of the election, which is the last election, we were waiting like a week for some. I mean, Arizona's still trying to count some in counties. It's wild, but we knew with the election results immediately, and it just went wild. So that's what I was talking about last night. You just have to be careful with that overreaction. You don't want to get caught up there when you know it's going to pull back a little bit. And I'm not saying it's dipping hard. You just don't. It's just going to have to pull back because it was setting up. And I think it was, like I said, reading the charts, it looked like it wanted to wait a day, and I think it caught it on surprise. It knew he was going to win, but I don't think it knew that the election was going to roll out that quick and that easy. At least that's what it looks like to me. And then yesterday, obviously, it just shot up because some of them just weren't ready to shoot up yesterday like that. Today, they could have actually shot up if they jumped up a little bit yesterday, and then today they had shot up. It would have been a totally different chart. So that's why I'm saying that. And I'm just going back and looking at a lot of these and that's just kind of jumps out at me. And you guys see how I look at it. Maybe I'm not right, but I'm just saying that the charts look like they thought that there was going to be a day delay with who the election was going to, what the result was going to be. And like I said, it was already at 3 a.m. too. I mean, the results were coming in so hot and so heavy for red that it was the thing started like kind of setting up in the middle. It just started moving. You just saw everything get crazy. So it's there you go. But like I said, I think it had a day delay. So I don't want anyone getting caught up in these things and then they pull back on you and you could have got that bottom price because when you see the difference of catching them up here and catching them down there in an option, and then having to make up that ground, that could be like almost 500% that you would be making up. And again, it's because of the options and the leverage. It's a totally different thing when you're just buying the stock, but you still got to make up ground. You always want that bottom, but I realize in the options you really want it because the leverage and the percentages get crazy. So that's basically what I've been finding out. And Amazon up 29 cents. And again, this thing, we know it's going to be super bullish and it's coming into the holiday season and it looks great. It's hitting the top. This thing could run up there and keep going. Amazon looks like it's going to try to keep some momentum, but another one, it's going to have to pull back just a hair, um, just to set up. It's right there at the top. If they get into the top, we know that they're going to be very safe to run for probably maybe a few days next week. But I'm not so sure they want to get into the top right now, and that's why I'm being a little hesitant because I don't want anyone getting burned on these things. And they jump up, or you get in it and it dips down instead of hopping into the top. If it gets into the top, you know it's going up. But if they hit these top lines and pull back, you could be at Amazon's 207 right now, and you could come back into the 190s. And you know how they dip down like a good $10 at any given day and then jump up like crazy. So that's why I'm saying just be careful and we're gonna have 4 years. This is what I was telling people. We're gonna have 4 years of charts actually setting up the right way. So that's where your patience and you don't have to go crazy day one. So he's not even in office yet. We're talking about a reaction to an election. So just trust me on this. And just be patient with them because you don't want to get caught in them when they're hitting that top line and coming down from an overreaction. Like I said, if they had jumped up today, I think it would be a totally different chart we're looking at because they're setting up great and they might have just kept going. But they jumped up yesterday like mania. I mean, it was lime green. You don't see a chart like that. We've seen it recently like that. And I think, honestly, in the polls, I'll go back because I post them every day. And I'm pretty sure it was during the election when like the Trump had like taken a pretty big lead the one time. And I remember the charts were like pretty green for a couple days. I remember posting about it saying we haven't seen green like this in a long time. And then you saw it yesterday, but we're gonna start seeing it pretty often again. And so that's why I'm saying you just it is going to get wild. And we don't really have to chase them why they jumped up. Meta's another one that's curling up. So Meta's going to be setting up. Meta and Apple are good because they're down at the bottom and they haven't even curled up yet. And I have a feeling that these are going to curl through just the way they look and they're getting rolling. They're way down there. So Meta and Apple are probably our best two to look at. I think Meta probably bottomed out yesterday. It looks like where it hit that 555 area. It's at 572 right now. So you find, and again, that's why you find these big caps that dip like that and they pull back like $10 on a day, you almost know it's bouncing right back. And a $10 pop up on an option, real quick call like that, or like a couple weeks out, how I was explaining, even a month out, is just huge percentages, guys. So look for them dips on these bad boys and know that they're going to rip. So yeah, Meta and Apple are setting up, looking much better. And Microsoft, that one's going to keep some momentum. That one's about to crawl through really hard. Microsoft's probably a really good one too. That should get running up into the 430 area. It's at 421. So I would say Microsoft wants to move. Let me just look at it on mine. Yeah, Microsoft definitely wants to get moving there. So keep an eye on that one to jump up. And again, it'll jump up, it'll pull back, it'll trade in between this channel right here, and then it's blast off time. Once they get out of these channels and they get to that setup, then they start running like bullish up and then the chart just keeps running up. So it goes stair step up, it'll come down, but now you're stair stepping back up into like 470 territory and past that. So that's what you're going to end up seeing Microsoft do. And again, this is not like tomorrow. But you can see what this is 3 months out, 2 months out. So you can see exactly what's going on. And these things were setting up like that for the last few months. They never broke that setup. So that's how you knew exactly what was happening. And they're going to do it now because it went the way it was supposed to. Tesla. Just obviously ran up like a maniac yesterday to 287. So clearly be careful. It stopped at that top. Can it pop up there and get into the top? It sure could because it's Tesla. And right now, I mean, Elon's probably like the most on fire guy ever. So, yeah, but just be careful because it ran way up and it can pull back. And again, it ran up like almost $40 or something yesterday. It was insane. So you do not want to get caught in that one if it is pulling back there and it ends up dipping down like $20, $30. It's a big pullback and your your option will basically get wiped out, expired, because it's hard to make up that in an expiration date. Obviously, a stock is different because you have the time, but it depends on what your expiration date. Obviously, if you're calling it a year out, you're safe, but you're not looking to really trade that one immediately because you're a year out. So that's what I'm looking at. And like I said, I've been just kind of zeroing in on them and seeing what our best opportunity is to make the best profits the safest way on an option. Because again, some of these are a little expensive. They can run you $500 an option, but they can pay you out 800. Like I said, that CONL yesterday. What is coin doing this morning? I think it's down a little bit. Yeah, it's down like $7. Honestly, not even looking bad though. So coin could bounce right back up today and go even higher. It's not looking terrible. It just pulled back because it ran up so crazy yesterday. It ran from like 215 to 257. I think what was that, like a 60% run up, and the CONL was like a 30, I think, but CONL was like just cry forget, or maybe they were vice versa. But even CONL, it stuck itself right. It ran through the resistance right there, right where it's at 40.79, and now it's sitting right there. So this market could turn on, and these things could roll today. It's they're both sitting right there, coin and CONL. And again, we did the options yesterday on them, so I think they're gonna pop up some more today. And they're really going to be printing money if they do that. So that'll be wild. And again, they had an expiration for next Friday, so you could sell some of them yesterday. You could, and that's the beauty with these things too, because you buy a couple of them, and then you know that, hey, it's going to hit that price, and I think it's going to go higher, but let me sell this one right here because I'll lock in my profits. And then, I'll watch the next one to see, kind of like scaling out. You can basically scale out and just sell one option. You buy four of them, and then you play them accordingly. So you can basically scale out of your options the same way as a stock. Just obviously, it's not. I guess it would be a percentage too, but it depends how many options you're buying. So again, just a lot of things to think about when you're doing it. But I'm telling you, it's just an amazing thing to look at and get into, and we'll explain it some more. I went over a bunch of it last night. We were breaking a bunch of it down. So if you want to check out that show, and I definitely will do an option show. I was explaining last night. I just been kind of experimenting, figuring out what works, what doesn't, and what I think might be the most simple way. I don't know. It's not apparently what I do is not the most sought out method, but I'm telling you, it works great, and it might be one of the most simple methods. I just kind of dummied it down. I thought, like I try to do with everything. So we're just playing with it, experimenting, and seeing how it works out. But yeah, it seems to be really good. And MTN, that mountain one, I told you this thing was going to move. That's up still to 180. So that was a beautiful hit right there. I know that one's way up, MTN. So that's a beauty. Let's go through the scanner and see what's going on. And then we'll see our laptop lowdowns. And I do have some extra time today, so I'm good to go. So I'm not rushing. That's why I kind of was taking my time a little bit, and I knew I could hang out and do these. So we're good for today. MDJH. I know that was one that we had looked at not too long ago. Someone had it on there, and that one popped up this morning. That's like over 100% runner right there. So we had looked at it. That TRNR is on there. We buy jumped up. We haven't looked at that in a long time. But Logic Mark, LGMK, I think, was running up this morning. So keep your eye on that. And we just went, yeah, it ran up this morning, 10 cents to 15. So there you go at Logic Mark. We've gone over that. How about our BJDX? Oh, that one is about to roll back up, guys. It did run the other day on November 5th, and then it pulled back, and now you're about to see BJDX get taken off again. So there you go with that one. You know that we were super early on that, and look at it today because it looks like it wants to fly up some more. So that's BJDX. ELAB, we've been looking at that, saying it's getting set up, just dragging down there. And it's just dragging down there. I don't know if it's ready yet, but we'll catch it because it's going to get ready real soon, probably the next day or so. So keep an eye on that ELAB today, and we'll see what that's up to. And I'll be looking at all these because, like I said, I've been kind of just getting everything ready because we're going to be destroying this market. It's going to be insane. That Foxo just went absolutely nutty. And I know we looked at it, I don't remember when, but it was very recently. And yesterday it went crazy. I'll tell you that. It gapped up, it opened at 27 and it closed at 13 the day before. So it gapped up to 27 and ran the 106. Maybe it even ran higher. I'm looking on here. I'll tell you in a second. Foxo, what it run up to yesterday? 106. This morning, 60 cents to 62 and back to 57 right now. So, but it looks like it wants to kind of bounce back off that top and run up a little bit. But obviously, be careful because that thing ran up like a maniac yesterday, and that was FOXO. And again, we looked at that. Let's look at DJT and see what Trump Media is doing because it was pulling back, and it's going to make a base down here. And again, this one kind of shows you too. I think the charts were waiting a day, and it just like yesterday, it just popped up like crazy yesterday, obviously, and it wasn't supposed to. It was sitting right on the 20, and it wanted to kind of hang out there yesterday, and then today it would have been in the perfect spot to blast off. And so it's fine. It was already curled down. Let it pull back a little bit, or not even just like make a base. You could see a couple little dips here and there, and then yeah, you're gonna get rocking and rolling. So a lot of people were buying again. People were buying the shares way up there because they're running off of that news, and this was a huge overreaction. I firmly believe it was waiting for today to find out. So or even later yesterday, later on in the market, because they would have been set up. And like I said, you could see exactly where this thing should have been sitting yesterday, and it just shot up like crazy. And now today it came down, and it's going to make a base down here. We'll see where its low is. It could get down into the 28 area again, maybe even lower. It's not like I don't think he's selling his shares right at the moment. And it's just one of them things that it just jumped up, and it honestly jumped up uh at the wrong time. It was waiting a day, and that's why I was saying that earlier. And I get that look on a bunch of them, so that's why I'm kind of saying that. I think the election ran a little smoother than anybody could ever imagine, including the market. I think the money even thought that it was going to be a day out and a little bit of a little problem, or at least a little hang up. And it was clearly no hang-ups at all. I mean, it was just like just cruised right through like it was no big deal. So there you go with DJT. So just watch for that to pull back some, and obviously it's going to be moving. It'll set up and get cruising. How about that XTAI, that one, aerospace and defense? Maybe we'll look at them real quick because this one's going to get cruising. It ran up on November 5th. It pulled back yesterday, and today it's trying to get moving. So it is looking good. I remember we were looking at it last week and at the beginning because I had it on the list, and it is looking nice. So keep your eye on the XTIA. And let me just see, since we have a few minutes, let me just open up a couple of these aerospace and defenses and see what's going on here, guys, because we haven't done it. And now we have a new president coming in, and let's look. We know Boeing's a mess, so we're not even going to mess with that one. Um, I seem to gravitate right to all the international ones because I guess we do them like DPRO. I don't know why. I just went right to it. ESLT, the Israeli one. I guess because we do it and I recognize the stock tickers or something because it's like I wanted to click on all the international ones. How about that KITT and the KWE? We'll look at that, and LLAP. And let me go on this page and pull a few up. What's Momentous, MNTS, and Lunar. And I know that's an Israeli one. Like I said, they just kind of jump out at me. SIDU, that's a good one right there. SIF, that's a good one too. And the last page right here, we usually do space. TAT is not one. XTIA. Let me see. SPAI. All right, here we go. Let's look at aerospace and defense, see what's going on with our country now. Earnings on ACHR are today, as a matter of fact, the seventh. So just happened to, and again, there's like 484 companies. So I didn't probably, I saw them all. I just ran through the list, but it didn't jump out at me. I didn't realize it. But there you go. This one has earnings, and it looks like it's going to get cruising, guys. So that's what the what was it? Shoot. ACHR. Yeah, ACHR. I have all these tabs open. I can't tell what's going on. ACHR though, it is curling up there and looks good on earnings. So I would watch for this to try to curl up on ACHR. AIRI. Let's look at it. That one's curling through. I'm telling you, aerospace and defense are setting up and looking great right now. They know it's about to be strong with the Trump winning. So that's AIRI. I think the entire sector is probably setting up. And I don't know if it's a bad thing. It doesn't set up as if we're getting attacked. It's setting up to be strong. That's what it's setting up to do. You can clearly see it. So well already AIRI, that one is CODA, CODA. This one's trying to pull back just to make space. It's super bullish. Just watch it pull back. It might be its low at like 846. It's at 867. CODA, CODA Octopus. I know we've looked at this plenty of times. And another one is setting up to get strong and bullish. GPUS, hyperscale data. I don't ever remember looking at it, but let's see. This one's crawling up and about to get wild. It has some momentum right there. Look at this one, guys. GPUS. This one looks good. It just curled through, and it's looking pretty solid right there. KITT. We definitely looked at this plenty of times, and it ran up yesterday. It kind of just pulled back there. It's going to stay over that line and get set up. KITT. So it should anyway. I'll keep an eye. The charts look a little different. It's hitting that line right there. Let me see. And it's not quite there. I think you're going to get a little bounce off of this one. So we'll keep an eye on KITT, KWE. I know somebody was just recently looking at it because we just took a look at it and I thought it's going to bottom out and start bouncing. So the 20's up a little bit. It recently split and ran up. The 20's at 133. We're at 73. I think it's just going to kind of bottom out here, possibly just run down along the bottom and then get set up as the thing comes down for it. So KWE is going to be a setup. Just I don't think it's bouncing that quick yet. And LLAP, let's look at that one. Oh, this one's setting up, guy. Oh gosh, guys, look at LLAP. It's ready to get blasted off right there. That was a good day to look at it. LLAP, what just happened? Did it like change or something? Hold on. Let me see. What is this? What day is this? What is going on? October 29th. So never mind. October 29th, it looked great. I knew immediately when I looked at mine, it's different. And they must have delisted or changed companies or so. I forgot. Oh, that was at Terror. That's right. We had looked at this thing before. Didn't even look. Terry and Orbital or something. Didn't like Lockheed Martin like try to buy it or something? I forget something happened. Not exactly sure. We were looking at it before. I just happened to pull it up, but we'll skip that one because something happened to it. I don't know. It might have delisted or gotten bought. So not exactly sure. We're not worrying about it. MNTS. So just skip that one. LLAP. It looked good in October. Let's put it that way. MNTS Momentous. That one's up a penny, and it's about to get some momentum rolling. So keep an eye on this one because it's crossing through, curling up, and looking really good right there. So MNTS, another one that did run up. It ran up to it gapped up this morning, actually. It closed at 57 and it opened at 65. So there you go. Without even looking at the this one didn't tell me what it was doing this morning, obviously. It still says 58 and it's only up a penny. So on FinViz, it didn't tell me, but I that's how you can tell the charts are on. It did, it ran up today, so mine just said it, and it's back to 58. So I'll have to readdress that one because it did run up. It is bullish, so keep an eye on it, that MNTS, but it ran up this morning and it was setting up right there. So looking good. LUNR, let's look at that one real quick. That one's setting up. Wow, that's going to go lunar right there, guys. Keep an eye on that. LUNR. Yeah, that one's getting set up to get moving. So looking really good on that aerospace and defense. SIDU, I know this is a pretty big one. At least I thought it was. Maybe not. It's only $2 and 24. I was thinking something different, but it's pulling back there and going to get set up. So SIDU will be really good real soon. So let that one pull back. And again, we're not looking at anything that we're getting attacked or anything. So that's a beautiful thing. SIF, let's look at that one. Sifco companies. This one's rolling off the bottom and getting bullish, guys. This one's about to start moving. So SIF is about to curl up. I would take a look at that today. That one's looking really good right there. And how about SPAI? Let's look at that one. Just kind of pulling back a hair, getting set up. Look for it to come down into the 180s. It's at 199. It's going to get set up and get rolling right there, SPAI. So again, the aerospace and defense looking good, but it's not like we're going to be under attack or anything. So it's a beautiful look that it looks strong. It looks like things are healthy. That's a beautiful thing. Let me do our laptop lowdowns real quick and see what they're up to. A nice extended morning for us here. And I know you guys want to see some. Let me look at them real quick. SMCI, obviously, let's see. It is up 53 cents. I honestly think this is going to bounce, guys. It has that look like it wants to bounce up there. SMCI. So I would keep an eye on it today, Luis Rodriguez and crew. I like it. I think yesterday was its bottom, to be honest with you. I think they're gonna end up announcing that what did it just say? Oh, here you go. let's see what this one says because some billionaire just did something today here. Billionaire Jeff Yass sold 61% of Susquehanna's stake in PLTR and is piling into another headline grabbing artificial intelligence. I guess he's buying this possibly. I don't know. I'm just trying to scroll through. I don't see it, but some kind of article today if anyone wants to check out the news and see what that dude's doing. I've never even heard of him, but whatever. Jeff Yass and but maybe he's piling on the SMCI. It looks like it's a good time to do it, to be honest. So keep your eye on that one, guys. It looks like it's curling up. And like I said, they can just say that they got a new auditor and this thing should go up. They have to do something before like the 15th, 16th next week at some point, I think. Um, Nasdaq gave them a certain time, or they told them they'd delist them. So I know they're definitely not gonna. I don't think Nvidia is gonna let them get delisted. Let's put it that way. It would be kind of great. It's one of Nvidia's biggest buy suppliers there. So there you go. Super micro computer SMCI. All kinds of craziness going on, but again, I think it's going to be bouncing up. DJT, I went pretty full into that one. So like I said, just it wants to pull back and it obviously is strong. It's down $5. Just be careful. We'll watch for the bottom and catch it at the perfect time. You know that. AMD, that advanced micro, I think this one's about to roll. I think your bottom was down there on the fourth at 139. You're back at 146. It looks like it jumped up a little bit this morning, AMD. It did. And yeah, I think you're solid on AMD to get rolling there. So I think AMD gets cruising back up here to that 150 area and then tries to get back up even higher. So there you go, Luis Rodriguez. Always good option choices there. Always have your eyes open for the good picks, and that's why I keep my eyes on the ones he looks at. Trust me, because they're great opportunities. And you look, and again, you just look for them bottoms, and you find the best ones. You don't have to. You don't want to trade five of them in a day. You just want to pick the one that you know is going up and buy it, and just trade it smart, and you'll do plenty fine. You'll do better than trying to juggle five of them. I'll tell you that. So here we go. Let's take a look at our laptop lowdowns because before I forget, let me get to them real fast. Here we go. ADTX. That one was looking really good. Hold on. ADT. I always hit ADT. But ADTX is like really starting to set up. It's right in that spot, guys. So absolutely keep an eye on this thing. We've looked at it for a little while now. It's been on this list and now it's at that spot where it wants to run. So keep your eye on that ADTX because you know it's going to get moving and we're always a couple weeks early. ALCE, I don't remember looking at this one, but it's about to hit that bottom and get set up. So ALCE is looking good to set up. What is it? Like a clean energy something. Hold on. Alternate clean energy, renewable energy or something, renewables. But yeah, this one's going to hit that bottom and get set up. I just make sure it don't go into the basement, but I don't think it will. ALZN. Let's see what that's doing. That's just pulling back a little bit, but that was set up in a perfect spot. That's going to be a dip and rip situation, ALZN. So keep your eye on that one because you know it's going to rip. Hold on. Let me look at that on mine. ALZN. Today. That was yesterday's dip, 165 to 143, closed at 155. Not doing anything today, but we'll keep your eye on that for a little dip and rip right there. ALZN, BNZI. I know we looked at this before. They have earnings coming up on the 14th, and it's just been pulling back, but this one's getting set up, guys. So I think you just saw your bottom on BNZI. So keep an eye on that. That's going to start curling up right there. And it's what? At $1.95. It's way down there. So that's BNZI. That one's going to be a good one. Carve, CARV. I know we've looked at this for the last few weeks. It ran up the last few days. And again, we weren't doing the entire list, so we kind of didn't notice. But yeah, this one ran up on the fourth, and it's just pulling back. So it did run up there. It was on the list for a little while, and we'll see if it wants to bounce back. DJLY, that digital ally, this ran up yesterday. I actually saw that. It ran up to like $1.19. It's at 94 now, just kind of pulling back. We'll have to keep an eye on DGLY and just see if it wants to bounce again because it had that run up yesterday. So that one did pop up right there. What was in the GNPX? That Genprax, remember this one ran up really nice on October 22nd. It was a real nice run, and it's been curling back since hitting that 20. Let's see if it's going to stop right there and try to move again. GNPX. Uh, I'll keep an eye on that today just to see. It has that look like it could get stuck right there and start to move back. So I'll look at it. ICU, I know we looked at this last night, and it is going to get curling up, guys. So keep your eye on that. And that was probably one of the big first poppers that we started looking at on the show back in June or something. It had split and ran up um, in July. So I remember it was probably one of the very first big poppers that we had looked at on here when I started doing this. KITT, we just went over actually the aerospace and defense. And like I said, that one's just going to get set up right there. Yesterday it was in a perfect spot. Today it pulled back a little, or maybe make sure they were the days. Uh, Yesterday it pulled back a little, and on the fifth it ran up. But you're gonna see that get set up. KITT. Leaf fly, is that what they're looking at? LFLY. Yep, that's a leaf fly right there. And they have earnings coming up today, as a matter of fact. And again, the cannabis stocks were looking great. This one pulled back. It's going to be another dip and rip situation. And now do you see why I hate trying to play around the earnings? As soon as it hits earnings day, it dips down. It was set up like it wanted to rock and roll. They're very hard to tell. And it goes for even these $1.40 ones, the cheap ones, the penny ones, the mid caps, the big caps, the mag 7. I went through a ton of charts and just honestly just looked at the earnings and right around the charts and what they were doing. And I'm like, I couldn't tell that. I can't tell that. I'm like, I just decided I'm not going to do the earnings because I just can't tell exactly what it wants to do. So that's what I was talking about last night too. MTNB, I know we looked at this. It's been in the basement, and this one's going to get set up. So I'll keep my eye on that for when it wants to get moving. NUWE ran the other day. They have earnings coming up on the 11th, and that one looks like it's pulling back right there. Let me take a better look on mine. Yeah, it looks like it's pulling back. We'll see if it can stick itself on that like 149 area and try to bounce because it's on the 50 right there. So we'll just take a look at that. Um, ONC, oh, ONCO, oh, ONCO. Here we go. 243 down at the bottom. A lot of these are beauties down here. Another one it had that crazy look like you didn't know what it wanted to do. And yesterday took that beautiful dip. Keep an eye on this for a little dip and rip. ONCO, that could definitely be a dip and rip right there. Let me see what it's doing. ONCO, nothing this morning. And like I said, just keep your eye on it because it does look good. That SPPL, that one ran up the other day. And I think it's coming out of the basement. It has that weird look. Let me see on mine, SPPL. And yeah, it looks like it's just coming down right there. So just be careful. That one ran out of its mind the other day. Staff was up the other day too. And this one's just kind of pulling back, but I think you're going to get a setup on this. It's kind of making that base. So we'll keep an eye on staff because that is looking better. I remember SVMH was way down. Let's see what that's doing. And it's still way down, dragging that basement. Oh yeah, this one was going to start making that curl, and you're just going to kind of look for it to bounce around in there. And it is. It's going to make that curl. Today it opened at 2 cents. Yesterday, 2 to 3. The day before, 3 to 2. So yeah, it's just going to bounce around, and then you're going to start to see SVMH try to set up. But that's a true penny stock now. And honestly, it was up at like 8 cents, not just the other day. October 29th, it was opened at 7.5. So it's down at 2 cents. So if you were in it that day and it dropped, you got smoked right there. That's why you got to be very careful with all these real penny ones and just trade smart regardless. So SYTA, they have earnings coming up on the 14th. So that's next Thursday, next week. And that one looks like it's trying to set up, just basically setting up right there. SYTA. Let me take a better look. SYTA. Yeah, not looking bad right there. So I would say that's trying to get set up as well. TFFP. Let's see. That one's pulling back. That one I'm going to keep an eye on because I thought this. I remember we looked at it. It looked great right on November 1st and then started pulling back. I remember we looked at it them days. And let's catch that one off the bottom. TFFP. That one's going to be a great one. TTOO. We looked at this last night and it is kind of it has its earnings coming up on the 14th next Thursday. And I think yesterday could have been its bottom right there. What's it trying to do this morning? I think TTOO is going to start to try to move. And again, it's way down at 72 cents. It's dirt cheap down there. So keep an eye on that. And how about our VCIG? What's that up to at 225? It just split, huh? It split the other day on the 5th and pulled back. So you know that this one's going to get rolling. So I'll keep my eye on VCIG today as well and see if when it wants to get curled up off of that split and out of the bottom. It's right in the basement and it's probably going to make that quick curl out. So I'll keep an eye on that. And ZVSA, let's see. That one ran up like crazy the other day on the 5th, and it's just pulling back. So I'll look at this one and see when it wants to bounce off of there again. But yeah, it ran up like crazy, like I said, on the 5th. It opened at 185, got up to 338, and it's at 143 right now. So there you go at our laptop lowdowns. Our heat map's pretty green right there. It's just a light green, and it's not lime green like it was yesterday. So again, let's just wait to see how these things wanted to react. It was a huge reaction yesterday, obviously, and today, don't forget the Fed's going to speak. They're going to cut that rate 0.25%. Fed likely to cut rates as Powell seeks stability after Trump win. Fed meeting today, so the stock futures inch up. Rate decision looms. Stock futures rise as Wall Street tries to extend major post-election rally. China's exports soar past forecast as factories front run Trump tariff threat. There you go. Stocks hold Trump election gains as dollar eases. And like I said, you can see what's going on here. The market kind of just reset itself. Everything just went to 0% almost. Wow, that was crazy. Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, Google, Meta, all of them, they all just went to like 0%. So it was just green a second ago, and now it's completely flat. Amazon's up, Apple's up a little bit. But yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be one of them weird days probably just and I strongly believe just looking at these charts that it thought it was going to take a little longer to get the results and it would have been a totally different pop-up situation. So I think the overreaction yesterday went nuts. It threw the market off a hair. Not bad, but it just kind of threw the charts off just a hair. So we're just going to watch the dust settle and I honestly think they should have been popping today. Today should have been like a crazy day and then pulled back a little bit or just kind of had the dust settle in on Friday, go through the weekend. They ran up so fast. We'll see if some of them can keep that momentum going up. But again, they're all setting up, and that's why I'm saying just want to make sure that you're careful with them and we catch them at the right spot because you don't want to grab them when they're lime green shot through the roof and then they pull back like $10 on you. Let me take a look at stock twits real quick. We'll see what's going on over there. Let me take a fast look and see what's happening right here. Let me take a look. What is trending? I'm getting up here. ELWS CYN. I remember looking at that one. What's that doing this morning? CYN. Yeah, now the market just went kind of green. That popped up this morning. They have earnings. So again, I can't honestly. They had earnings yesterday. I just can't tell. Now it looks like a momentum play. So I'd be cool with it running it up. But again, I wouldn't probably chase that one. But I'm just telling you what I would look at. mRNA, we looked at a lot of these last night, a few of them. That's running up. I don't remember if I even said what did I say that was going to do. I said it was going to go down. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I could just pick the opposite of what I see on the earnings, and that's what they do. So Alts trending. AUPH, PLTR is pulling back. RKLB is Rocket Lab. That's way up. Remember, we looked at that not long ago, and it's just consistently shot up. And we looked at it down here in the sixes. It's up at $13 now. So that one, and it's in the top. I don't know if you really want to chase it. How about that ARM holdings? Let's see what that's up to. It looks like it's just kind of pulling back right there, but that's setting up to get really bullish. See if it can get down into that 132 area. It's at 138, but just watch for any pullback on ARM. And how about QCOM? We knew it was setting up, and it did blast off up there. But again, their earnings coming up yesterday, and it popped off of there. It has that weird look like it could pull back today. I have no. I'm telling you, it's hard off the earnings. But as soon as I know in a day or so, it's going to get super bullish. I'll find that bottom price and run it up even better and know that I was safe on it. And we knew going before that it was safe. And again, I would have just probably sold it off of that yesterday, November 6th at 178. And obviously today it popped up to that 184. But I mean, I decided the earnings are just not for me because I just have a hard look at them. And there you go. So let me see if anybody else wants to see anything. SMCI, we got that. And I think we got everybody. And there we go. How about that, everybody? Thank you, everyone, for hanging out this morning. A little extended pre-market, nice little hour or so. And I'll keep an eye on everything. Let me know if you want to look at anything. And thank you, everyone, Asian Joe Lee, especially for your Joe Lee's jumpers and laptop travel for your laptop lowdown. Luis Rodriguez always sending over great option choices. Quid, Bong, Pre-Chan, how are you this morning? JCJ Kratz, DTM Manish, how are you? Joe Murphy, how are you this morning? And Michael Weather, how are you there? So yeah, everyone have a great day. Trade smart, lock in those profits, and again, don't chase anything up at the top. Just let them pull back. You know, as a show, we find the bottom and run them up. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'm telling you, it's gonna get so wild, and some of that patience just is gonna pay off. Just beautifully. I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing, guys. So just get them set up, get ready. And oh, we never looked at crypto this morning. Hold on. I didn't. I looked at it this morning. I forgot. I didn't go over it. Yeah, Bitcoin's just about at 75,000. It's at 74,918, and I know it was up there. It went to 76 already. So it's going to get to that 80 probably and keep rolling. Solana's at 187, and like I said, it's going to get back to 200 real quick. So I would expect it to start moving up some more today. Ripple's at 54, and it just wants to keep ripping. So just keep an eye on that. Doge, where are you at? 19 cents. And I mean, it had run up so crazy that it's just kind of I'll say a little pullback, but almost basing out up there. And we'll see if it'll probably have to pull back some because it did run like maniac. Cardano's up to 37 right now. And again, it's going to get over that 100 at 40, just below 40. And then that one's going to pop off there. So Cardano is going to move. And what was the other one that we were with? WIF. Let's look at that one real quick. WIF, because that was setting up really nice right there, and it is going to try to get crossing through. I think. Well, I'll keep an eye on it and see. It looks like it's right there to bounce and get popping on that whiff. And bonk. Let's see if bonk's going to go bonkers still. How are you looking, Bonk? Here we go. And Bonk is just between that channel of the 50 and 100 and looking really good. So you know it's going to get rocking and rolling. So that's our crypto report, our Joey's jumpers, our laptop lowdowns. We even did our aerospace and defense this morning and our spy and big caps, just making sure I did it all. And there we go. So yeah, let me know if you guys want to see anything today. You know I'll be posting. LGMK, let's see it. Let's look at that one. That's Logic Mark. We already did that. Yeah, that was moving this morning, and we've been talking about that one. But yeah, it was running up this morning, and it still looks pretty solid, guys. So keep your eye on it. Went from 10 to 15, and that's at 12. So we also We definitely did that. Thank you, Joe Murphy. Appreciate that. But yeah, keep your eye on that logic mark because it is looking good. And there you go. And you know that we find every popper and how's the heat map looking before we end. It basically went up again. So Microsoft's up 0.34%, Apple's up 0.40, Amazon's up 0.36, Tesla's down a little 0.1011, Meta's up 0.31, Google's up 0.87, and Nvidia's up 0.15. So they're all bound. I don't know. They just went flat there for a minute and decided to go up. And again, it's just going to be a little weird of a day with the Fed speaking, and I'll be on it and keeping everybody posted. So I'm not sure what time the Fed's even coming on to speak today. I never even looked. And but yeah, that's gonna happen, and we're gonna have a Friday weekend. And then, like I said, things are just gonna get set up and blasting off. I just want to find the bottoms. I think it's pretty important, and it's you definitely want to find them, especially if you're running options. Even in stocks, it's important because it gives you that leeway. If they run up and pull back a little bit, you're still safe. But in the options world, I think it's really important when you have them expirations. Obviously, if you're a year out, you're not really as worried. But if you're only having them for a month because you're locking them in quick, you really want to find that bottom, and because your confidence is going up when you're in the bottom, you know it's going up, and your options are just going to cash in for you. So that's what we've been looking at and zoning in on. And there you go. That's our pre-market for today. So again, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Have a great day. Trade smart, lock in those profits, and let me know if you want to see anything. So have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you guys later.